Good morning, this is TCR, TroyCommunityRadio.com. I'm Clint Myers on 107.1 WTJN for David the Noyer on TCTV. It's time for Community Connection with the Miami County Park District. And with us this morning is Scott Myers and Amanda Smith. And you brought a guest
we
as
brought
well.
A guest.
Good
We
morning.
brought a guest this morning. We full house.
It is a full house in the studio.
In the studio, and we brought Donnie Knight with us today because we have the Park District. Obviously, we do a lot of partnering with a lot of different folks, mostly local things along those lines. But Donnie is with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service.
Okay.
He's based here locally. Actually, lives in Miami County. How many counties do you cover?
34.
34 counties.
Wow.
Or Southwest Ohio. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm on the road a lot.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so we wanted to bring Donnie in today to talk about the partnership that we've been working with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife and those kinds of, and it's been great for us. It's fairly new. So I'll just, Donnie, if you want to just share a little bit what the impetus or how this became about from the federal government standpoint in U.S. Fish and Wildlife. So.
Yeah. So the Partners for Fish and Wildlife program, as Scott said, it's part of the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, and it's a private lands restoration program. So we work with private landowners like Miami County Parks to provide technical and financial assistance to restore various habitats for Ohio's wildlife.
Yeah, and so when Donnie first approached us about this, it's the old axiom, we're the government, we're here to help you. so right away I'm going, okay, what's the catch? But really it's been great because we have two properties that we have recently or in the process of acquiring through Clean Ohio, our Clean Ohio grant program, that are smaller properties. We aren't going to open up to the public, but we were going to use them for habitat restoration.
Okay.
And so this program, this partnership is, we're already doing this. And so this is going to provide an opportunity with their assistance to do more or, along those kinds of things. And so, like our first one was the Duke Park expansion that we partnered with the city of Troy when they purchased the farm for the Duke Park expansion. We're purchasing 38 acres of that's in the floodplain. So Donnie then worked with us on developing a plan for the tree planting. We have to have a local match that we had to for the purchasing the property and the development that we were going to do on it, the habitat restoration thing. So with that, local match, U.S. Fish and Wildlife and Donnie came into play and said, hey, we can provide the materials, the funding to purchase those materials, the trees and things that we're going to put in there as part of this cooperative agreement for your local match and save the taxpayers of Miami County and our funding $25,000 a year.
Wow.
So, obviously.
Thank you, Donnie. Thank you, U.S.
So obviously we're going, we're the government here to help. Actually, they were here to help. So, Donnie, why don't you talk a little bit about what, the project at the Duke Park expansion, because we talked about it last week, Clint, about the trees that we planted. So why don't you just talk about the process or what you did as far as developing the plan and those kinds of things with that floodplain down there.
Yeah, so this one really fit well into our strategic plan and our focus. As I said, we have pretty large areas we cover, 34 counties for myself. So within those counties, we have focus areas and certain habitats and species that we want to manage. So the Great Miami Watershed is part of our focus area, which is called the West Central Ohio Rivers Focus Area. And things like riparian restoration that we're doing with the county parks falls right into that. It provides habitat for species, federal trust resources such as the Indiana bat, which is a federally endangered bat, the Raid bean mussel, which is a freshwater mussel that Scott knows about.
We know about it all too well.
There's good and bad of those listed species. But, we manage for species like that have a federal listing, but really when it comes down to it, we're providing good habitat for things that are maybe a little more recognizable for the general public, like smallmouth bass, wood ducks, things like that. So, this project is, I believe, 29 acres.
Yeah,
was what
29 acres is what we planted. Yes.
So it's all planted back to native hardwood trees and shrubs that would be indicative of a riparian floodplain forest.
So what type of trees would those be?
Oh, so we have various, there's quite a few. We have a lot of different oak species, hickory species, maple. We've got a handful of native shrubs that do well in floodplain situations. And also have, with a lot of our native shrubs and the decline in our native pollinators, it's nice to have some of those flowering species that are really good for pollinators as well.
Sorry, I'm taking over the interview for you.
That's okay.
One of the neat things about, and Donnie talks about like the maples and the oaks and things like that, and granted, what's neat, normally when we plant, do a large tree planting like that, we'll just do saplings, bare root saplings that have a survival rate of maybe 5%, 15%.
Yeah, it can vary. It can vary pretty high.
In this situation, we did 3-gallon container trees.
Mm-hmm.
Of varying heights, could be 3 feet, 4 feet, 5, decent size,
So they've already got a good start.
They've already got a good start. That survival rate, if I remember right, is 85%, is what traditionally those...
Yeah, we're up even in some cases with these various tree plantings. This is how we do it a lot anymore. And we've even exceeded 85% with some of our plantings. So.
Yeah, and so we're talking 980 trees.
Wow, that's a lot of trees.
Yes.
That's a lot of trees.
That's a lot of trees. 29 acres, that's a lot. I mean, and we didn't plant the whole acreage. There's some areas because it does flood. And so Donnie identified like a swath through the field where when it floods and it recedes, that we tried to avoid trees in a good chunk of that area to try to help with so that it wouldn't lose the trees. But, so for right around $21,000 that through this partnership with Fish and Wildlife Service is providing the 980 trees, tree protectors. We're going to put on quite a few of them. And the other neat thing that would allow us to do is that working with Jesse Chernetzky, our volunteer coordinator, we had volunteers that helped plant a decent amount of those trees as well. So it was a great community project partnership, not only with federal U.S. Fish and Wildlife, us local as the Miami County Park District, but also our community members, volunteers that help plant some of those trees as well. So 20 years from now, when those people that help plant those trees, when their kids or grandkids are playing baseball at the new Duke Park extension, and they see those trees, they can they can tell, hey, I helped plant those trees, and then maybe they're out there on the trail or out there in a fall league or something like that, and those trees are starting to turn, and it's going to be beautiful because all the colors are going to be coming through with that mix that he did. So
now I would also have to assume that planning goes in the thought of what you're planting, along with things that belong in this area or in the wetland floodplain, like emerald ash borer, and the problems that we've had with that and losing the ash trees.
Right. Yeah. So, as you mentioned, emerald ash borer, green ash would typically be a big component of a riparian floodplain restoration project. So obviously, right now we can't plant green ash or any of the ash species. Right. And that brings up a good point in that when we do these plantings, even though, let's say, Scott, he really loves sugar maple, or I really love bur oak, you really want to try to maximize diversity as much as possible, because we can't forecast things like emerald ash borer coming in. So the more diversity you have, better chance you're going to have a quality product, even if there is an invasive pest.
Okay. Much like that elm disease, emerald ash borer, those trees.
Right.
So right, and that's what's important with that diversity of trees and those kinds of things because of that's reason. That's why we do. And you want to do native because you know that they're going to have the best opportunity to survive.
Right.
And thrive.
For what's already been in this area.
Right. And so Donnie put together the planting plan for down there, picking the trees that fit best in a floodplain that are going to be able to handle, some flooding at times. trees that are, going to be appropriate for the soil types. He did all that planning to figure out which trees we needed to go down there. So it was wonderful. And then, I mean, how many? So 980 trees. That also
blows
means
me away. 980
that means
trees.
980 holes.
Yes.
So Donnie spent what, 2 days?
Yeah, two separate days, probably half to 3/4 of a day each day. So.
Yeah, with an auger on the front end loader digging those 980 holes.
Yeah.
It was really pretty too.
Yeah.
I mean, to just look at when they were just the holes.
It starts to come to life when you see the holes and.
It is, and then all these little marker flags that were pink, and then the Park District staff started dropping the trees in. It just really was an amazing sight. We actually have some footage and some pictures we're going to be sharing on Facebook after the show today.
Excellent.
And Donnie will talk a little bit about some of the stuff on site, including a garter snake that we saw.
Correct.
It was really, really neat.
Did you touch it?
I
she
did
did
not.
not.
I did scream. I screamed and
She
jumped.
didn't run, but
Startled
didn't touch
me.
it either.
Yeah, but it was really interesting. So sorry, I had to bring a little bit of nonsense into the serious talk. But we also saw a lot of wildflowers down by the river.
Right
So
now
that
is
was
a
pretty
great
neat.
time for spring ephemeral wildflowers. They're up, they bloom, and they're unnoticeable the rest of the year. So this is a great time to be out. Really, in any of our woodlands, there's a lot of plants.
And that's
really
why
neat
it's,
plants.
I think one of the things I have said this for years, that I think the bike trail going along the river has opened up the consciousness and the awareness of the river more for just regular, folks use it that normally wouldn't have been along the river because of the levee system and those kind of things. Now, because of the bike trail, they love the river system, and these wildflowers that they normally would never have seen, they can now see by going down the bike trail.
Right.
So that's, so another good plug for why the bike trail is important for folks, not only from their health, but also a chance to enjoy nature in areas that they wouldn't have normally enjoyed. So,
Mother Nature's garden.
Mother Nature's garden. You're exactly right. You're exactly right. So, one of the things that we want to do is with Fish and Wildlife, and that's Amanda and Donnie are working on a sort of like a social media campaign. So,
Right.
Amanda, why don't you share a little bit about that?
Well, we really just wanted to educate the public on what U.S. Fish and Wildlife they're doing and how it's benefiting Miami County, and then also learning it's amazing what the trees will do for the river and erosion and these endangered species. So we're going to be sharing that stuff. U.S. Fish and Wildlife will be sharing some of it. We're trying to do a little bit of video. We're going to have another project with the
Kessler Frederick
Frederick
the other small property we purchased along it's along the Stillwater
Right.
River at Kessler Frederick Road and State Route 55. And that actually area, instead of being as much, that's not going to be a tree planting as much, that's going to be more of a pollinator. It's about right around 37 acres we purchased, 7 along the river, then 30 is an old agricultural farm field that's going to be converted into pollinator habitat. There's actually 30-some beehives that a volunteer had on the property with the previous owner, with the landowner that she had there. When we purchased the property, when the owner approached us about the property, we were excited about it, not even realizing those were there. And so what our conservation efforts are with that property is that now it's going to become basically about 30 acres of pollinator habitat.
Nice.
So Donnie is working with us on what needs to be done there for that property and the mix we need, and working with Pheasants Forever and Terry Levy and that whole process. So that's coming down the road. That's in process as well.
So this will be ongoing throughout spring and summer? Or?
Right. And then actually that one will probably be a multi-year because because of the existing bees being there, we didn't want to go in and eradicate the existing alfalfa field that was there.
Okay.
So we only eliminated half of it and planted it. We'll come back once those are established, we'll come back in a year or two and do the other half of the field, so that the bees don't get impacted too much from that. So, and then the partnership with Fish and Wildlife is annual. I mean, there is funding available for us each year to do more and more habitat enhancement. I mean, we've done some monarch butterfly habitats the last few years. We're doing more pollinator habitats. We're doing more and more of those things so that, because of the honeybee issues, and which in tune, not just honeybee, but also native bees like bumblebees. If we don't have those pollinators, then that impacts our food source quite a bit. That's why it's very, very vital. And making a huge comeback. The last couple of years has been a huge emphasis for nationally.
Well, it's been in the news, and everyone's been aware of what's going on, or made aware of what's going on.
Right, and it's really gotten impactful. And so between that, the monarch butterfly, which is such a beautiful species, and we don't want to lose those. As a little kid, we always loved watching the butterflies, float around. And so their migration to Mexico and back, they need to have those milkweed and those kinds of things. So, as folks are doing, restoring areas and parks have been at the forefront. The National Recreational Parks Association has been at the forefront of trying to emphasize those areas along with many other conservation groups.
Right. And with U.S. Fish and Wildlife, that's a big part of your local strategic plan, is that?
Yeah, it is. Monarchs right now, monarchs are the poster child of many pollinators, and many of which are in serious declines. So we have a separate funding code that we are specifically doing monarch butterfly habitat restoration. So things like this pollinator plots, making sure now we're conscious of having milkweed species and other host plants that they need as part of their life cycle. And then also, as they emerge as adults, they need high-quality nectaring sources for a food and energy source for migration. So, it's the parks, it's the USDA, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. It is the hot topic right now.
Well, and it's everybody working together.
Right.
That's what's so great.
Correct.
And that's where, the Park District for years has always been about partnerships, because you can't do things by yourself. And we're a small community. And, having everybody, working together with different groups and partnering, that's what we love to do. And that's, where, being a county park district, it gives us an opportunity to partner, like in this situation with the Duke Park expansion, partnering not only with U.S. Fish and Wildlife and our volunteers, but with the city of Troy on the purchase of the property. And so having those relationships and things along those lines has been wonderful for the community. So.
It really is. And you guys will continue to post stuff, so you can follow it through Miami County Park District Facebook page. You'll soon be able to see things through the U.S. Fish and Wildlife.
Our Midwest
page.
Region 3. We also have the social media outlets, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
Yeah. And we'll try to, not only show you how pretty this stuff is over the next several years, but
Right.
also tell you how it's impacting our local wildlife and sportsmen with the fishing and all this stuff
And folks, and it doesn't have to be just public agencies that do it. Like Donnie said, they're looking for private landowners.
Yeah. Yeah, we work a lot with, just a farmer or recreational landowner that has an interest. Some folks might be familiar with things like the conservation reserve programs that are administered through the USDA. We are a similar program like that can help both technical assistance and financial assistance to establish all these various habitats. So.
All right, and perfect for Earth Action Month.
Yes, yes. A lot of Earth action going on with Donnie and U.S. Fish and Wildlife. Earth Action Month going on for us. Coles was just out this past week doing their annual tree planting.
At
Honda,
Hobart.
at Hobart Urban Nature Preserve, Honda is going to be doing their tree planting with us. They do annually here, coming up pretty soon.
On the 30th.
That's on the 30th, yes.
Yeah.
And so I couldn't remember the date.
Yeah,
So that's coming up. So that's always important. And CISV did one, and folks saw a picture in the paper the other day of that planting.
Right.
CISV did a program with their organization, their kids, to do some plantings at Hobart Urban Nature Preserve as well. So, that's pretty cool.
And it's really all about trying to give sustainable small tips, doing things on a park district level, but also sharing information on things you can do in your own house to help improve your community and your environment, your backyard, and help pollinators.
Rain barrels.
Rain barrels. We have
I'm a big believer in the rain barrels.
Yes.
And as soon as we start, as soon as the rain stops coming midsummer, you're lucky to have those reserves from earlier,
That's right.
So
That's right.
Continue
That's right.
to. But anyway, yeah, Earth Action Month. You can follow pictures of our volunteers and the tree plantings, and just connect with us on social media. We'll connect you with U.S. Fish and Wildlife and Region 3, and you can just follow along.
And see if there's a way that folks can help. Which would be
Donnie,
great.
maybe we'll hit you up for some nice backyard plants that would be helpful. For
there's
plants.
with this pollinator, now is probably as good a time for the average landowner that maybe not like myself or the park system here. We have the connections and the resources readily available. It's not quite as easy for a landowner to track that stuff down, but right now there's just so much being done with backyard pollinator gardens and what those resources are. So there's the Monarch Initiative. There's here in Ohio where I think looking at the Midwest region and monarch butterfly habitat areas, something we really have unique here in Ohio is the Ohio Pollinator Habitat Initiative, which is a group of universities, state and federal agencies, graduate students, park systems, and really just trying to, that big part of educating the public, not only in what the declines, why we have these declines, but what we can do about it, from a large landscape level, with a 30-acre planting of the park system down to myself. I've got a 15 by 15 native pollinator garden that I just play around with, and the really nice thing about the native pollinator plants and these native plants is once they're established, you never have to water them. It's
kind of self-maintaining.
It is a lazy way to garden, and it has big impacts for native wildlife.
Right,
so.
and that's the thing. And native, it's native because it survives well in this region on its own. So, yeah.
Well, you think I just think back into childhood. Just going down 41, all the fence rows that used to be in that would have the trumpet vines and all the things, and now they've been completely cleared out, and it's just open field.
Yep. So, but this is an opportunity for folks to to replace those things and do them in their gardens. There's spaces that they wouldn't normally be using. Instead of mowing grass, you can do that. And I know I took a big chunk of my yard out last year, and that did and we got a bunch of garden stuff in there. So it's a great opportunity for folks to do that. So,
all right. Well, thanks for stopping by this morning.
Thanks for having me.
It's great to get all that information, and it is jam-packed full of information this morning.
Jam-packed, and so. Couple programs just real quick before we sign off. Trail Run Challenge tomorrow.
First one, Hobart Urban
Nature Preserve. Yep.
8 o'clock registration. 9 o'clock the race starts. Jesse's really prompt.
Yes.
That race will start at 9.
Start at 9 o'clock. If you're at 9:02, you're going to be 2 minutes behind.
You'll have to catch up.
That's right.
Health, Miami County Health District will be there. They're doing the BMI and the blood pressure again.
You've got great sponsors for that.
We really do.
Yep.
UVMC Premier Health, they have, I think, one of the biggest teams, and they are a big sponsor of ours, have been in on it from day one, so we really appreciate that. Abbey Credit Union, they're a sponsor again this year. We also have Up and Running, who has also been with us for years. So if you don't have your shoes, you might not want to get them today for tomorrow because they might not be broken in, but go after or early next week and visit the folks at Up and Running. They're really good about finding the right shoe for your form. So we have a new sponsor, actually, A+ Tutoring, and they provide tutoring services by licensed teachers. They are accepting students, and they wanted to kind of get the word out and have a team as well. Right. So they're one of our new sponsors, and they have some really wonderful things that they offer. So we'll have links to that on our website, so you can go out there and check out our newest sponsor.
That's right. And look for future dates on alliancerunning.com.
That's right.
Because there'll be 4 more races coming up throughout the year.
Yeah, run them all.
That's right.
Walk
and
them
then
all.
This afternoon gardening series, Intro to Gardening, 2 to 3:30 at Lost Creek Reserve. So we're just talking about gardening and that kind of thing. So that's a great opportunity for folks to get started. And tonight, the good old-fashioned campfire at Charleston Falls Preserve. And tomorrow, the Naturalist Adventure Series, Rites of Spring, 1 to 4 at Charleston Falls. Monday, Trailing Moms and Tots, 10 to 12 at Charleston. So check our program page on our website, see all the programs.
Postcards coming out this week. Watch your mailboxes.
Yes.
Save it. We had to use an entire 8.5 by 11.
Yeah.
We have so many wonderful
A
programs.
lot of new programs.
May
We really expanded our public programming
and
quite
September,
a bit this
yeah.
year. So so
Lots.
for those.
Keep an eye out for
Yep.
it. And
So-
save it.
That's right. Save it and take pictures. Don't forget our photo contest. They can see that info on our website, Facebook page, all kinds of stuff.
Well, how long, here's my only question, how long do we have to wait till we start seeing the fireflies?
Ooh, Donnie. Look at us both like
Yeah.
that. Oh, we have an expert.
Well, I don't claim to be a firefly expert, but typically that's going to be not until probably June. June on, yeah.
Oh, there's so much fun.
All right. We're anxious for
We
summer.
are. Yeah, we are. We are. It's been a great week or so with the warm weather. It's been nice.
And it's beautiful. It's supposed to be beautiful tomorrow, too.
Yes.
So good weather.
Great.
Excellent
for
weekend.
programs.
Hey,
Yes.
thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
being here, Donnie. This has been the Community Connection with the Miami County Park District. I'm Clint Myers on 107.1 WTJN for David Denoyer on TCTV.